Girl, you've learned that people-pleasing doesn't work. You have a purpose, a plan to achieve, and a point time for your passion projects. You finally value your thoughts and ideas. Now you're putting them into action. Mom guilt is in a box where it belongs. You care for those who need you completely, except that you've made yourself a priority too. Being creative and focused helps you get your zest for life. You, my friend, you think enriched. Hey, welcome to Think Enriched. I'm your host, Amy Robles. Today we're talking all about what is the Rich framework? How can it work for you? And we're going to take it apart piece by piece. Today we're all talking about the letter R and what it means to live a rich, refreshing life. Ironically, it's all about using routines. Here we go. Get that in your purse. All right, this week, forget that in your purse. The more I thought about it, the more I realized we have not talked about this very important, critical part of any sort of blog, business, even when your Facebook and your Instagram, your tweets, what you say and the words you use are so important. You want to make them concise. You want to make them very polished. You want it to make it a very excellent product of what you're putting out in the world. And this is something that I've been working on for years now. I used to be really flowery and descriptive, which is important when it's time. But some of our technical writing and what we're reading, we're taking in so much information that less is more. Tight, crisp, solid, concise writing is really what attracts attention of others. And so I've been working on it, studying the art of writing, studying more about how to make what I'm writing, the words, the message that I'm sharing, even better and easier to understand. And I've tried 3 or 4 different types of software that could help and just do a little bit of editing on my writing. And the best one, and ironically, the one that I keep coming back to, I've tried more expensive products and I always come back to this one. And that's called Hemingway App. You can find that at hemingwayapp.com. And just looking at it, let me pull it up right here. It shows you and it highlights like this sentence is way too complex. Shorten it, make it, split it up, make it 2 different concepts. Sometimes you use words that are just normal words in your working vocabulary, but regular people in a regular day don't use it. They highlight those and they offer, try an easier word here. And another thing that I've noticed is in my writing, I would use a lot of adverbs and a lot of really super descriptive of how all that was going on, which is good in that type of writing, but sometimes less is more. And so it'll highlight the adverbs, you eliminate it. I put complete blog posts in there. I've put bits and pieces that, you know what, this just doesn't sound right. And by looking and seeing it with fresh eyes and in the color, I think that's why I keep coming back to this app. The pop of color really pulls me in. And so I change it and I'm learning and I'm tightening my words and just making it really a lot more simple, concise, and excellent. And this is one app I highly recommend. I believe you can get the app for your computer about $20, but that's probably the best $20 I've spent on my blog. So, the Hemingway app. Speak the lingo. Today on Speak the Lingo, I'm really excited about this word, one that is used a lot, and I think oftentimes we only see it in one capacity. And the term for today is rich. And sure, every time you think of rich, somebody that's rich, Richie Rich, remember that old show? It always has to deal with wealth. And the term is always used as something very, very expensive, in high value, or super costly, right? And that's one perspective of it. I really want to dig in deeper on the word about living a rich life and having abundance in your resources. And when I think of that abundance in your resources, I think of, volcanic soil is so rich in nutrients, and it has just as abundant, and the plants just grow and just thrive. And every time I talk about the rich framework, I want to make it clear. Having your finances in order, that's a big step, and that's a big component of that. I understand that. And in my own personal journey, working on that and really making sure that we're making the right financial decisions for our family, not just for today, but for the future, has been a big step. And that always seems to lead to something else. And I love seeing, I just got a text from a friend this week of, hey, we just got all of our debt paid off, and I was just geeking out, and it was gifts and dancing and as much as I could, just celebrate that moment, because I think sometimes we think, we got the finances figured out, we're good. We're taken care of. But having a rich life in the resources that we need, think about it. If you were completely abundant and had all the time that you wanted to do every single thing you wanted for the next 30 days, what would you do? I'm serious about this. Really process. How would you spend your time? You have 30 days off. You don't have to worry about any sort of financial situation, and you can go anywhere. You can do whatever you want. What would you do? Consider it this way. You have that same 30 days, and you can spend your time with what people? Who would you choose, and who were the people that you would really enrich those relationships with? Isn't that a fascinating experiment? Isn't that interesting to see that those same few people seem to pop up in your life? A lot of times, living a rich life is all about being able to make the choices and being able to do something that just fills your cup, fills your soul, and gives you so much value, and is so overflowing with this abundance and this goodness. And I get chills just talking about and thinking about the quality of life, the experiment of life, the real meat and potatoes, just the guts of life. That's so important, just that we're making sure that we're participating and enjoying that part. I've been really studying about what that means and digging deep about what that means in my life. And that's where all of this of the rich framework came from. Today's episode starting a sequence of the next 4 to 5 episodes where we're going to talk about what the rich framework is, how you can go through and really implement this in your life and enrich your life today by living so intentionally focused on what's important to you and making your future something you can just thrive in. That's what I believe. That's why I choose to use the word rich in the fullness, the abundance, the plentiful, all of that in one. That's what I want for you. That's why we use this word. Today's term, rich.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Habits of X 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 habits. Hey, one quick habit that has really been helpful for me lately has been quick walks for freshness. They say sitting is the new smoking because it's so bad for us and your body doesn't respond and your body gets all miserable and then your brain's just suffering and you're not giving your best, that these quick walks just make such a difference. And the reason that I'm saying that is because sometimes I'm just talking about what I am working on in my own life. There is really something about the way I get involved in the way I get focused on what I'm doing that I have to step away and take that break. And so I've been setting these little alarms. We've talked about setting reminders on your phone. I've been using the FitBit app that after 45 minutes that I actually step back, get up and go for a walk. And I usually go around our little neighborhood and it's, 5-10 minutes, really quick. But you breathe in that fresh air. You see something new. You just take in a little bit of nature, step back, come back in, sit down. And I cannot tell you what a difference just doing that 2-3 times a day. My goal is to get where I'm working 45 minutes straight and then taking those last 15 minutes of the hour just to refresh, reset, and then jump back in for 45 minutes. And I can see how the quality of my work is improving because of that. So this week's habit of excellence, quick walk for freshness. Good for your mind, good for the body. All right, so we've been talking about this in abstract, and I realized I have not walked you through step by step what the rich framework is. Everything that I have been working on, learning, all of these ideas have come together, and I just see these 4 steps over and over, which is the rich framework and how I work with women and help them get started on where they are, how to build a business, how to improve their lives and do better, and take wherever they are, if they're working on getting out of debt, if they're working on really getting organized in their routines, all of these different elements, and set them up for massive success. Okay, so what I mean is, in the rich framework, these 4 steps, by having that rich, abundant life full of the people that you really care about, full of those things that are super important to you and only you, that's the amazing paradox of living in the big picture, but also your intentional living for today. There are so many times where what's important right this second will not be important in 1 week, let alone 1 year or 5 years from now. And I think sometimes we really get sucked into, oh my word, I got to take care of this. Oh no, I got to put out this fire. Oh no, I've got this one more thing. And it can just be overwhelming. What I noticed is before I ever started getting everything organized and things just written down and structured, really designed the life that I wanted, I felt like I was just on this roller coaster and I was up and taken care of, and oh my gosh, that was so fun. And then all of a sudden, just everything would fall apart, and I'd have to just pick up the pieces and clean up, and I'd spend, just this huge disaster thing that we didn't expect. And then it'd be weeks of getting the pieces together, and then I'd start and, build yourself up, and get to this high roller coaster. And R in the rich framework is all about to refresh yourself. And every time I just see that word, refresh, in my mind, I see this beautiful Caribbean, Hawaiian beach with these colors that are so extraordinary. It fades from that light sand to this beautiful pale aqua color, and then that rich, almost a teal. How does the water become teal? That just gorgeous color, and it fades into a little bit deeper and a little bit, you can see that. And the water and the refreshment that comes, that is what happens in my mind when I say the word refresh. You are the oasis in a chaos of storm. And what I mean by that is there are people that come to you looking just for clarity, looking just to answer some questions, just trying to figure things out. And if you are not able to refresh yourself, to take care and really get yourself clear, how can you ever expect to take care of others? And you can do it for a little while. You can fake your way through it. But burnout, exhaustion, overwhelm can just really get you. And that's the thing. For me, being able to refresh myself has been taking my mind out of all the little tiny things. First, set daily routines. Now, while you're setting your daily routines, sure, you wake up, you get ready, do you eat breakfast first? Do you brush your teeth first? Think about your micro routines. Where do they fit in? How does that work? Then you want to deliberately create a daily routine that creates this regular day of success, which seems so simple, but can be wonderful. Is your regular day of success you go to work or you go to wherever you go to, you're home, you're taking care of your regular routine, and then you go straight home and you eat dinner and do the dishes and watch a TV show while you fold laundry and go to bed? A lot of people live like that, and that's a lot of the routine. Is there 15 minutes after work where you do one thing that you don't do that just makes you feel so relaxed? Is it going to the park and just feeling the cool breeze on your face as you walk? Is it sitting in a tub and relaxing? Is it reading a book? Is it doing absolutely nothing? Is it saying to a friend, look, let's meet for coffee and I just want to talk and laugh and just not think about anything important, just silly trivia for a few minutes and just take a break? Those little things are ways that you can refresh yourself so that you are clear and ready for the next thing. Now, creating that daily routine will set you up to know that you are going to be able to have that moment of refreshment. What you're doing by setting up these routines is eliminating decision fatigue from your life. Have you heard of decision fatigue? It's a fascinating topic. I have in the show notes an article from the New York Times about, do you suffer from decision fatigue? Essentially, what they're saying is that our minds actually suffer from mental exhaustion, the work of making decisions, going through, choosing back and forth actually is so stressful and so difficult on our brains. But by the end of the day, we're absolutely exhausted. Here's why setting routines are so important to your regular day. It gets you off the roller coaster of these high highs, taking care of and having so much fun, and then these lows of trying to figure out and make sure that everything is taken care of. So many times we're on the up and down of life that when you set the routines, instead of having the highs so high, you're making it smaller, that it's just set. Okay, so we're sitting down, we're going through and going to accomplish A, B, C, D. And you just have it all figured out so that the highs and the lows are easier. By setting routines, you are saying, I don't have to think of, oh my word, our house is a mess, I've got to clean up, and make that whole list in your head. What you do is, Monday is this thing, Tuesday is this thing. These little pockets of time allow you to focus on the other things of life, and you're still getting the work done. And so when you write down that daily routine, however you choose to do it, there are so many different options. You are creating your daily docket. Look, these are the things that have to be done. These are the things I want to do. And you're giving yourself that freedom to take time and refresh yourself. And when you do that in your own life, when you do that in your business, when you do that in those things that are important, you make sure that the work gets done that pushes you closer to the next goal, the next thing. You're eliminating decision making. You're focused on what needs your complete attention, and you put yourself on autopilot magic. I want you to remember that so much. So many times we drive to work, we come back home. We drive to work, we come back home. That you do it so many times that you can think, wait, did I stop at that last red light? Right? Your mind is in autopilot. You are actually going through the motions so quickly that you don't even have to think about it. That's how it needs to be with so many of the little teeny tiny things in your life that need to be done, is getting to that point of autopilot magic. You wake up in the morning, you get these steps done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody's ready, you're out the door. You go through routine, you get to work, you get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you've got the free time to really focus on what needs to be done, and you go. Or you get to work and your mind is fresh and you feel clear and you're really ready to focus on something. You focus on that big big enchilada that needs your full attention. And you go through and you work on that for 2.5 hours, get this project done, and it's beautiful and it's polished and you feel really good about it. That's when you jump into your routine and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those big 5 projects of the day, and you look and you leave with this unbelievable productive day, and you took the thought process out of it that not only were you able to give your best work to that big enchilada, that you still have the energy, you still have that capacity to just refill yourself if you need that 15-minute break, that step away and refresh yourself, that you're able to give the rest of your life the best of your life. By taking time to refresh yourself, you are allowing yourself to be in the moment. And oh my word, we all suffer from this. How many times are you sitting at a restaurant and you just look at all these other tables and at least one person, maybe 2 people, are on their phones while they're sitting facing each other, supposed to be having these moments. We are missing the moments, getting lost in all of these teeny decisions. It's ridiculous how much life is being sucked away from our life when we think we're doing things in the name of productivity. I am refusing to live like that anymore. There was a point in my finances where I refused to live the way everybody else is living. That's how I feel about my time management. There are things that need to be done, but I have this very, very precious time with those people who are important to me. And I am doing everything in my power to make sure that I am in the moment. That's what I want for yourself. That's why this first step in the 4-step rich framework that I keep talking about is so important. Refresh your soul, set your routines, and live in the moment. There's so many more things to cover. I can't wait to tell you more about it. We're going to jump in step by step the next few weeks, going through the 4 steps of the rich framework. This is how you can make your day a rich routine and enjoy the paradox. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I've started this new thing. Nobody's perfect on the mic. And if you're worried about how am I going to get started and where do I actually start, I'm just going to add the outtakes from the show onto the very end track so you can hear nobody's perfect, no matter how much practice you have. And it just feels so good to laugh. So enjoy. Have a good week. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, welcome to Think Enriched. I'm your host, Amy Robles, and that's my lunch alarm. One quick caveat. And set them up for massive success. Holy smokes. What you're doing here is eliminating in fact, and that would be my phone. Are you kidding me?